Welcome to the Coaches Cup podcast. I'm Coach Judith Fender with the No BS Weight Loss Program.
And I am Sonya Green from Sonya Green Coaching.
And last week we were dropping some hints as to what this week's podcast was going to be. And so here it is, y'all, disappointment. And when Sonya and I were pre-gaming about this and we were chatting about it and how this topic came to be is when we get clients who are really stuck in disappointment, right? I think last week I called it toxic disappointment. I don't know that that's a definition, but that's really when it becomes a problem for people. Yeah. And what they don't realize, right, of course, is it's a feeling coming from your thoughts but it's when people really begin believing and swirling in the disappointment and making the disappointment about themselves as a person, as a whole, like the big picture.
Yeah. And it becomes a problem then, and it continues to be a problem because then they just want to get rid of it.
Right. Hence more buffering.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. In lots of, all the buffering ways, all the othering, as you like to say, the drinking, the eating, the shopping, the Facebooking, the
Netflixing.
Yes. That rather than feeling it. Yeah. And nobody, if somebody comes up to me and says, here's a cup of disappointment, would you like some? No, I wouldn't. It's like a cup of shame. I could, not something I'm wanting to partake of, but it happens. It's a feeling just like any other feeling.
Right. And that's funny to hear you call it like a cup of disappointment. So when I was trying to think, like, at some point with feelings, like personally, I can remember being that person swirling in disappointment, especially when it comes to, like we were talking about earlier, weight loss.
Yeah.
And, really like feeling the disappointment, wearing it like the shame shot, like it felt that real.
Yes.
It's totally lost my point. We may have to start over.
I think, and maybe this will spark your thought. But I know for me, my problem was always I conflated disappointment, let's say, with not losing weight, with me being a disappointment.
Right. Personalizing it.
Yes. It was all about me. It went from I'm disappointed because the scale didn't move to I'm a horrible person because I can't do anything right and the scale didn't, and just totally diving in, so that's what often happened for me. That's how it became toxic, because I conflated all of those feelings.
Mm-hmm. And Sonya, we may have to, I'm
sorry, I was trying to bring it back.
I've got my notes here because what I want to say is, when we understand that we have disappointment and then we're experiencing it, like what do we do with it? Right. And that's becoming like, how do you get that learner's mindset?
Yes. Oh, I love that learner's mindset.
Mm-hmm. And versus, because if you're personalizing it, you're making it a personal assault on yourself. Yeah. Whereas if you can take on that learner's mindset, then you are breaking it down. You're creating resiliency. You are getting into that like anti-fragile mindset where you are realizing that it's going to be messy. It's part of the process. And this is how I learn. And this is how I grow. Yeah. Where the other way, you're just like digging yourself down in a hole. More about me. I'm such a loser. I'm such a problem. I can't do anything right. Like the thoughts continue to support.
Yeah.
So somewhere it's that defining line where you have to reach in and then and practice. Yes. It requires, again, I think we had one podcast yet where we don't talk about being present or being aware or being conscious. of what is going on and what you're thinking.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Yeah, I had all kinds of thoughts as you were saying those things, because you're hitting all those nails right on the head. That having that learner's mindset that makes us pliable, that makes us flexible, that means we're growing versus that fixed mindset. Yeah, that's the thing that we reach for because that probably has been our norm.
Exactly. Yeah. How we do one thing is how we do just about everything.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. But we don't have to live that way. We don't have to be that brittle because that's what it is, right? That fixed mindset, it's very brittle. We're attacking ourselves. What did you say? You used a great term there. That we assaulting ourselves
Oh, yes. Yeah.
versus the learner's mindset, which is curious. And to me, I don't know why, but I think about learner's mindset. I think about growth mindset. So it's a very green, lush way to live my life. And looking at things that way, it's not personal. I'm not the disappointment. I'm not ashamed of me.
Mhm.
I'm just out here learning and practicing and getting better every day.
Right. And that's even like a strategy that you can use is that I'm getting better every day. When you are assessing your day, hopefully you're doing some form of assessment. You're not just out there, living on hope, right? Hopium, as Corinne calls it. Because if you're living on hopium, then you're not having the intentionality, and then you're setting yourself up for disappointment versus, again, that growth mindset, the learner's mind, that learner. I think about kindergartners. I think about when children are playing and they're learning for the sake of learning, and they're going to what they gravitate towards, and that natural tendency, and it's fun and it's exciting.
Mhm.
And if we could all just adopt that type of mindset on how we do. I'm doing a little thinking about some things I'm doing here. Like, yeah, Judith, where can you put your kindergartner mindset on? To have some fun.
Absolutely. No, I was thinking about that the other day. So, full disclosure, we have a 5-year-old granddaughter. And for those keeping score at home, a 9-year-old son.
Let's see. Fingers and toes.
Yeah. So, but so our granddaughter has been spending a lot of time with us lately. She's just started kindergarten, and my son's in 3rd grade. And so they were playing school the other day when they got home from school. And, she had all of her dolls lined up and my son, he was, yeah, playing school, and she was teaching everybody things. And I thought, you know, that's that's the fun of it, right? She was she was reinforcing the things she learned at school that day.
Yes, yes.
And that's how we should be approaching even the hard subjects, like
Especially.
disappointment, especially the hard, yeah, especially the hard subjects like disappointment.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I love that.
And part of, kindergartners aren't comparing themselves to each other either. They're not going, well, they may be on the crayon box. I don't know, but they're probably still sharing crayons. It's been a while since I've had a kindergartner, but in my mind, y'all play with me. You know what I'm talking about
Yeah.
here. But they're not comparing how many spelling words so and so got right or whatever. They're just like loving that their friend is having a good time, and that everyone is kind of like going on the same vibe of feeling good and being excited about being there and not being afraid.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And that's, when we can turn disappointment, when we can turn the temperature down on it, then we can look at it the same way.
Mhm. And like we would never say to our kindergartner, so disappointed that you didn't learn all these things today, or whatever we would say that we say to ourselves.
Yes.
and make it mean colossal failure.
Yeah.
But looking towards what did I learn today and how can I grow from this and what worked and what didn't work,
Mm.
right? And if I was going to do this again, how could I improve on this?
And I will say that, sometimes switching gears here a little bit, but sometimes the disappointment is not something that we have done. It's something we're disappointed in. Maybe I didn't get that job that I applied for, or, you know, maybe I was expecting somebody else to do something and they didn't follow through or whatever. Um, and and now I've lost my train of thought.
I got it. It's because
But
it's late.
yeah, that's what it is. Um, but at those times, it serves us not to try to just push it away, push it under the rug. It serves us to sit and actually feel it.
To
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, 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 please don't apologize. No,
Oh,
no.
it, I have gotten to the point because I know over the years that has been my automatic response to try to push feelings away. So I will set aside a certain amount of time, and that may seem silly to people, but this is how it works best for me. So if it works for you, then take it. But I will set aside a certain amount of time, and it depends on what the thing is and how much I'm feeling it. And I will say, I'm going to feel this uncomfortable feeling for 15 minutes. I'm going to sit with it for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to sit with it for today.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to move on.
Mm.
The time really depends. But if I say that to myself and I plan for that, then I'm actively processing it. I'm not trying to just get rid of that. I don't say, well, they couldn't help it. I shouldn't feel this way. That
Yeah.
doesn't serve me at all.
Yeah.
So I'll actually just sit with it and process through it for a specific amount of time.
Yeah. I think um, I think that my process right now, I think I'm to the point where I just have those compassion where I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're just feeling disappointment. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Mhm.
Um, now I say that I am sure there is something that it's happening somewhere, but in this moment, that's what I believe to be
Yeah.
true is that I am rolling through most of my emotions,
Yeah.
except I do still deal with like oh, this is funny. I got coached on it today. Like perfectionism in believing there's a right way to write something. I
Oh,
have literally spent
really, Judith?
thousands of dollars at this point to get coached on the same thing. I think about that. I'm like, Judith, how much money? Like you were talking, I think was it last podcast we were talking about money, throwing money at your problem and not
Yeah.
like trying to
Yeah.
solve it. Like that's me. Like how many sessions are you going to believe that there is some right way that I'm convinced I'm going to get an A for content and a D on grammar? That's all that matters.
I don't know what to do with you about it.
I know you like
Even me as a college professor, I can't get you to believe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
structure. There has to be there. Where show me the structure.
Yeah. But anyway,
I hear me. I hear me.
yeah,
Let me look over my notes here while we're taking this little I've got in my notes anticipate the struggle and the mess.
yeah,
Anticipate it. Not, I think at this age, surely in our 50s, if you haven't figured out disappointment for yourself, then working backwards from like if you're thinking like your life's a shit show or this is a problem or whatever, like yeah, let's kind of just normalize that language just to kind of get it in a space of neutrality and then try working up for there. Like, well, what did I learn today? Just one thing, just something tactical to hold on to. But if I don't know, I have all kinds of thoughts. I'm not sure who our listeners are and where they're at on all the level, but hopefully they're practicing something we're saying.
Oh, after last week, they better be taking 5 minutes to practice, right?
Did you get that piano solo on there? I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
You
But
cricket.
no, I like to, and sometimes when I'm doing visualizations, I like to think about me and growth, and I think about the color green, about being flexible and growing, and so curiosity, I have equated with the color green now.
Mm,
I know that's it's supposed to be envy, but that's curiosity for me because it means that I'm growing and I'm
mm,
flexible, that I'm not getting rigid, and that's brown and black.
yeah. I think of like of a loose feeling. Like I think for so long with anxiety that I always felt so constricted and tight and like having that gripping control, even though
Mm,
it wasn't true, but my body was feeling it. So
okay.
now I have what I believe to be, just even like, am I holding on too tight? How can I let loose? Type getting into my body more of what am I feeling? Because have I told you about my telltale sign in my pelvic floor? Have we talked about that on a podcast?
Um, I don't know if we've talked about it on a podcast or just between friends.
Well, I'm pretty open about this, and I think it's worth saying. Like, I believe somebody needs to hear this, and that's you could not have convinced me that my pelvic floor pain was caused from my anxiety ever in 1,000 years. I was convinced I needed back surgery. That's how bad it would you. I mean, that
Let's just stop and think about how many surgeries have happened
I cannot imagine. I would have let anybody cut them.
due to stress.
Right. Right. And the research is out there that back surgeries aren't really effective. Like there's that. I've gonna done the search for my husband. But all this to say, so in my pelvic floor, after having the fascia released over many sessions, I can now, it's my telltale, I'm air quoting, I can feel the tension building there. Like it's always like just a little tender. I'm always have awareness of it. And so how this comes into disappointment or feelings, or I literally can tell in my body, am I holding on? Oh, you're holding on too tight. You need to relax. Let's breathe. Let's go down into the pelvic floor. Let's expand, because you're holding on too tight. You're not breathing. Let's open
Mhm.
up. And so somatically, when I'm in that place, I believe the energy is flowing better. I'm much more receptive. I'm growing in the
Yeah.
physical sense as well as the mental.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it absolutely our bodies betray us every time, whether it's disappointment, whether it's shame, whether it's sadness, guilt, all of those, are we hold them in our bodies, we just do.
Mhm.
So, maybe something we've said today helps you let go of that just a little bit.
Yeah, would be great. That would be the goal.
Yep. Alright, anything else?
Ah, I'm checking over the notes. It's looking pretty good here. Don't make it personal.
Yeah, yeah. Don't make it personal and don't stuff it down.
Mhm, mhm.
Awareness, folks.
Yeah.
We need awareness T-shirts. That's what we need.
What did you learn? What did you learn today?
Yeah.
What will you do next time? What did you gain?
This is all a growth experience, just a journey.
What is Gabor Mate? Do you know who he is? Have we talked
I do, yes.
I love when he quotes Johnny Cash. It all goes down in your mind. It's apparently Johnny Cash has a song, something about hell. What is the song?
I am not your
I know. I'm not a
person.
Johnny Cash fan, but I'm a Gabor Mate fan. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
anyhow, I think we're good. Allow and accept. Anticipate the struggle. Don't compare. Did we cover all that?
We did, I think
All
so.
right,
Yeah, experience it like a kindergartner.
Gardner. Yeah. Fun. Have fun. Be a kid. Be creative.
All right. If you are looking for coaching, You can find me at SonyaGreenCoaching.com or on Instagram at Sonya, SONYA _Green Coaching.
And you can find me for coaching with the No BS Weight Loss Program. I am a private one-on-one coach. And you can find me on Instagram at Just Judy, JUSTJUDIE, and on the Coaches Cup Facebook page.
Yay! Yeah.
Over there. We'd
Yeah.
love to hear how you grew today and share your vision of what a growth mindset, what it looks like to you. What does it feel like to you in your body when you're growing or when you're allowing your feelings versus holding on or stuffing them down?
Yeah. What do you do with disappointment? All right. We'll see you next week.